Genetic engineering, once regarded as science fiction, has become a reality in recent times. The process of manipulating an organism's DNA to create new traits or characteristics has revolutionized the fields of agriculture, medicine, and biotechnology.
Well, genetically engineered, they're using sophisticated laboratory techniques for food that cannot be found in nature.
Genes and genomes are given once and for all, and then it's like a divine lottery.
In recent years, advancements in genetic engineering have brought about incredible breakthroughs, from gene therapies that cure previously untreatable diseases to crops that are resistant to pests and harsh weather conditions. However, with great power comes great responsibility, and the dark side of genetic engineering cannot be ignored. As scientists continue to push the boundaries of what is possible, ethical questions surrounding genetic engineering become more pressing. And in this video, we will explore the ethical ramifications of genetic engineering as well as its dark side. Genetic engineering is a powerful tool that has the potential to transform the world as we know it. It has a number of advantages, including the ability to treat diseases and increase agricultural productivity. Nonetheless, there has long been discussion about the ethical consequences of genetic engineering. So now let's know a little about what is genetic engineering. Well, the goal of genetic engineering is to alter the genes to increase the organism's capabilities beyond what is normal. The potential application of these two technologies to humans, non-human animals, and plants have generated ethical debate. Now, having said about manipulating what's normal, this indicates a huge potential negative effects of this powerful technology. Unveiling the topic, one of the main concerns of genetic engineering is the potential unintended consequences of manipulating the genetic material of organisms.
When it comes to genome editing, we hear the phrase unintended consequences a lot.
We will examine cases where genetic engineering has resulted in unintended side effects, such as the creation of new diseases or the impact on ecosystem. For instance, if a genetically modified organism, which is also known as GMO, gets loose in the wild, it might breed with native species and spread its modified genes, and perhaps resulting in the emergence of a new species with unforeseen ecological effects. Just think how weird it could be, right? Not gonna be making fun on this serious topic, but I guess Stanley had deeper idea on this before making our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Jokes apart, the introduction of a new gene into the genome of an organism has the potential to interfere with other genes or regulatory sequences, with undesired results like the emergence of cancer or other disorders. Some well-known examples of the potential risks of genetic engineering is the case of genetically modified corn that was engineered to produce its own pesticide. This corn was widely planted in the United States, but studies later revealed that it was toxic to monarch butterfly larvae, which feed on milkweed plants that often grew near cornfields. This raised concerns about the impact of genetically modified crops on ecosystems and biodiversity. The world's first genetically engineered infants were produced through gene editing, according to a Chinese scientist announcement in 2018. Chinese biophysicist Yang Kui's attempt to use the clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats technology, which is also known as CRISPR, to modify human embryos and make them resistant to HIV, which led to the birth of twins called Lulu and Nana. Now, this generated a global uproar and brought up ethical issues about the production of designer babies and the possibility of genetic discrimination.
You should not be taking edited embryos and implanting them in women to have children at this point, because we just do not know the risks, and the risks could be severe.
The scientist was later imprisoned for 3 years, and China strictly prohibited the genetic manipulation of human zygotes, embryos, and gametes. Potential bioweapons have been created using genetically modified viruses. For instance, in 2017, a group of researchers successfully altered the H7N9 bird flu virus to increase its capacity for transmission among mammals, sparking worries about the potential for a pandemic. Again, in a survey conducted by Pew Research Center in 2020 across Europe, Asia Pacific, North America, Brazil, and Russia, an astonishing 63% considered it a misuse of technology. Another report from the same source suggests that 39% of the Americans considered genetically modified foods worse for their health. Critics of genetic engineering argue that GM crops may undergo gene flow, where they cross-pollinate with non-GM crops to create adverse effects on local ecosystems. To fight diseases including dengue fever and the Zika virus, The USDA authorized the introduction of genetically engineered mosquitoes in Florida in 2021. Yet other scientists are worried about how this release may affect the local ecosystem unintendedly. While some contend that genetic engineering has the potential to have a negative impact on both human health and the environment, others think it could have enormous positive effects. Yet, it is crucial to keep in mind that genetic engineering involves ethical questions and has been a subject of discussion among scientists, decision makers, and the general public. Coming to the ethical concerns of genetic engineering, it has a wide range of complex and varied ethical consequences. The ethical implications of genetic engineering are complex and often debated. Some of the key ethical concerns related to genetic engineering includes safety risks, social justice, informed consent, human dignity, and environmental concerns. More study is necessary to properly understand genetic engineering's long-term impacts. The introduction of new organisms into ecosystems through genetic engineering has the potential to have unanticipated and long-term effects on biodiversity. The application of genetic engineering may cause resistance to our adaptability to genetic changes, which could have unanticipated outcomes and long-term ramifications. Normally, eggs provide about 6 grams of protein, and half of this protein is in the egg white. Most of the nutrients in eggs are found in yolk, but artificial eggs are full of chemicals, additives, and auxiliary agents, so fake eggs contain no nutritional values compared to the real eggs. But did you understand? I guess you got my point. While it is true that the dark side of genetic engineering may seem daunting, it would be unwise for us to move away from it. Most of the problems mentioned above with genetic engineering lie not in the technology itself, but in human nature. Our habit of monopolizing, weaponizing, and fearing what we don't understand. Despite what misleading Facebook posts may tell you, banning would only lead to this revolutionary tool wandering off into the wrong hands. We must approach genetic engineering responsibly and cautiously, weighing the possible advantages against the danger and moral dilemmas. By doing this, we can make sure that genetic engineering is applied in a manner that enhances human welfare and upholds the inherent worth of all living things.